Oh my goodness, how cute are they? Absolutely wonderful. Of course, it's 6 o'clock. That means we've got a brand new one-day special for you. We're going all groovy again. And those designs by the wonderful Linda Williams, of course. Now, we are going to give you the details. I know Paul's waiting on Skype to talk to us as well. We're going to see lots of demonstrations throughout this hour. But we're looking here at a fantastic kit. Do you know, there's different options for you as well. We've got the one-day special, which could be the girls, or it could be the boys. The girls come with red parchment. We'll show you some samples in a little while. And the boys come with the blue. You can see those there right on the screen now. £31.96, saving £10. Same item number, you've got the choices there. Now, the saving, if you take the £10 from the girls and the £10 from the boys and carry that £20 over, we've got another option for you. Remember, that's £20 already. The complete collection, the girls and the boys, we're giving you another £17 off on top. Wow. And it gets better than that, because if you're a Freedom member, look at this saving. You are saving a further £22.99. So with carrying over that £20, if you were to buy them separately, that's £42.99 saving for Freedom members. It is a why not deal, that's for sure. There you can see the details on the screen. If you are not already a Freedom member, only for £6.97 you can join, and you are going to get that discount, of course. Incredible value there, it really, really is. And how could you say no to any of these? You can't go for the girls without the boys. You can't go for the boys without the girls. That's my opinion. If you've got the, you know, the pockets that will afford it, then the full collection is where the huge saving is, and you're going to get everything, of course, including the lovely parchment in those colours there as well. 967001, that's the item number for you, and 2 payments of £26.96. And as I expected, we are busy already. We're already very, very busy. Paul, I think you're waiting there on Skype. We're going to say a very good evening to you, because I think it's officially good evening. And a little bird tells me it's somebody's birthday today. Who would that be?
Not sure.
Is it your birthday? There's so many birthdays happening at the moment. Happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you're spending it with us now. Tell us about this collection. It's gorgeous.
Absolutely amazing. And as you clearly explained, Catherine, we've got the 2 different options for the one-day special. We kept it simple by doing the boys and the girls. And then, as usual, we've done the complete mega bundle where you can get everything with further savings. Now, all the demonstrations over the next 5 hours have been done by the super, super talented Linda Williams. What she doesn't know about parchment, I mean, look at this picture here.
That is
Barbara
a beautiful picture.
and Linda on a jolly to Slovenia on a parchment retreat. Best friends. They're both such amazing women, so much talent. They really are. And Linda has very kindly sort of stepped up to the plate. She's adapted to the technology to bring us 5 demos over the 5 different hours. And I watched them all first before sending them in. And she's got such a calming voice. And the illustrations, I said to Linda, where did the inspiration come from on this collection? And she said to me that the design, the dance in the puddles, was a design that she did in traditional parchment about 6 years ago, and it was published in a magazine. And she still sees it constantly on social media, but since the Groovi's evolved, people are saying, oh, can't we have it in Groovy? Can't we have it in Groovy?
Oh.
So, so what she did, she said she'd always wanted to add to the collection. So she spoke to Barb and said, what do you think? And Barb went, yes, please. So there we go. So this is where we've got the 8 beautiful plates. We really have, and they're absolutely gorgeous.
They really are. I'm just showing some of the girls there. I will show some boys in a little while as well. But I can tell you, Paul, we are so busy already. A quarter of the whole stock of the complete collection has already gone. Now, you may have spotted it on the screen as well. You do get the A4 folder included to keep everything in if you're going for the full collection as well. Very, very busy. So you're going to get all of the girls girls, you're going to get all of the boys. You're going to get the parchment in the red, the parchment in the blue as well, and the A4 folder. 967001. Do you know, the samples as always, Paul, gotta say it, I always do. I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I didn't say well done design team again. You've worked your magic yet again. The most beautiful samples here, and I'm just picking this one out because Jane Telford has done this one. Look, just using the little bunny rabbit from one of the plates there. You can really break these down.
Yeah, I saw that in the BT and I thought, is there a bunny rabbit on it? And then I had to look at the designs because I missed the bunny rabbit. There's so many different elements and you've got 8 beautiful borders. And Linda mixes and matches them in her demos over the next 5 hours. I mean, look at this. This is just
it's so adorable. It really is. Who's done this one? This is from Francis has done that. I mean, the detail in there, but how absolutely adorable is this? And you've got to pay attention to the words as well. I mean, the next one here, actually, it's the same. It's a completely different card, but you can see the image or the plate that's been used is the same. May your heart be as light as a snowflake. I just love that. And you can, if you wanted to take individual words out, you could do. I mean, the word heart, just the word snowflake. You know, you don't have to even use the whole of the wording, do you?
Right. And in one of the demonstrations that Linda's done over the course of the next 5 hours, she's actually made up grandson from using the different letters from the different plates as well. It's just, there's so many different elements on there. So you've got children through the seasons. You've got spring, summer, autumn, winter, but it's just pure. I mean, for me, the frames on their own that you can just mix and match with.
Well, you certainly can. We're going to see so much in the way of demonstration. Paul, thank you very, very much for joining us. We're going to let you go and continue celebrating your birthday. But just before you go, hopefully it's a nice birthday present if I tell you that already 40% of the stock has gone. I was going to say a quarter, then that was the first. 40% has already gone.
Wow. Wow.
Very, very busy indeed. We can see the phone lines are extremely busy. If you want to go to the website, that's the quickest and easiest way. Paul, thank you so, so much. Go and relax now if you can. It's going to be a successful one-day special. We know that already. I mean, we're only 8 minutes in and already that 40% has gone. These are absolutely stunning. Thank you, Paul, for joining us.
And I'll see you at 8 o'clock.
You certainly will. Thank you very, very much. Yes, we are extremely busy. 967001 is the item number for the full collection. Most of you are going for that. You have got the options in the one-day special to go for the girls or for the boys with a saving, but the value truly is in that full collection. Let's go to demonstration. We're going to see one right now. Can't wait for this. So looking forward to it.
Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the children's plates. We have a collection of 8 plates, 2 for each season and a boy and a girl for each season. So we've got spring, summer, autumn and winter. I'm going to be using the winter ones today in this demo, and I'll be showing you how to combine them. They all combine with each other. They've all got nice borders and they are interchangeable, and I'll also show you how to change the heads around and make a boy out of a girl and a girl out of a boy, so they're quite fun to use. So in this first demo I'm going to show you how to make this Christmas card, and I'm going to be using the little boy ice skating and the little girl on the post box. So this is the project I'm going to be showing you how to make. In each demo I'll be showing you different techniques so that you can learn how to apply these different techniques to get a card that looks totally different. We'll be using, this one is embossing with dry pencils. I'll be using dry pencils on their own with no embossing, no shadow embossing. We'll be using ink pads, we'll be combining embossing and colouring, and lots of different techniques that we can use. Dry pencils, pencils with blending. So I've got a lot to show you over the next day during these demos. So this is the first one that we're going to do. We'll do the little girl with a post box, and this is combining your shadow embossing and your dry pencils as well. So right, let's get started. So we need, I'll go through the basics with you first. Oh, and one more thing, I have used with each set, the boys and the girls have been divided into 2 sets. So with the boy set, you get some lovely blue 2-tone parchment. So you've got a dark and a light blue. And with the girls, you get 2-tone pink, dark pink and a light pink. So I'm going to be using the blue parchment from the 2-tone pack. So let's get rid of that for a minute. And the first plate I'm going to use is this one. I'm going to take the border from this plate. So this is the right way round because you can read the writing. You turn it round, pop it into your plate mate, and you can feel the grooves, and that's the side you're going to be using. And I've cut a piece of the blue parchment with my Pico die square cuts. This is the second outermost square, and it fits quite nicely with this design. So, right, so I'm going to put some Groovi tabs to hold it in place. Probably will need about three or four, but I'll just use 2 for now. And then I'm going to use my Groovi guard. I'm going to rub it over with a tumble dryer sheet. Let's move that a bit. Because it's quite small, I'll move that when I need to emboss it. So rub it over with a tumble dryer sheet. Now, when you're using the coloured parchment, you've got to write on the wrong side. So you can see better when you're using the dark parchment. I'll put the 2 together there, and you can see this is the dark blue and the light blue. So the dark side is the wrong side. That's the side you will be embossing on, because you want your embossing to be white. Because the colour is flooded onto one side of your parchment, then that's the side that will remain blue, and when you emboss, the white is on the right side. So if you look, you can see it's quite a bit paler. So that is the right side, that is the wrong side. Saying it's the wrong side, but if you want your embossing to be blue, then you could emboss on the other side, but coloured side up for embossing. With the paler one, it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to distinguish which is the right side and which is the wrong side. The paler the parchment, the more difficult it is to distinguish which is which. So what I generally do is, if I'm not sure, I'll take my embossing mat and emboss a little dot in one corner that I'm not going to be using. So if you can see, that is a blue dot and that is a white dot. So this will be the right side of my parchment, and this will be the side that I'll put down onto my Groovi plate. Okay, so you rub over with a tumble dryer sheet, and I'm going to use a number 1 embossing tool for the border, and because I want it to be nice and white. So you just fit, this is a number 1 tool, this is number 2. It's the finest point of your Groovi tool. I quite like the Groovi tools for doing the embossing. So you fit the tool into the groove and just emboss. Just press it in. If it comes out, it doesn't matter. It won't mark your parchment. So I'm going to emboss the whole border and the snowflakes, but I'm not going to emboss those little dots because I'm going to be cutting that out. So if your Groovi tab's in the way, just move it out of the way. So you just carry on embossing all the snowflakes and all the curves. I'm not going to do any more of that because there's lots of things I want to show you. So that's the way to go, and you will end up with a piece that looks like this. Okay, that's the right side. You can feel it, it's embossed. The darker side, and you can see the pattern is blue. That is the wrong side because I wanted my embossing to be white. Emboss the whole border, no dots. The next thing you do then is you change your plate and you use the little girl with the post box. And I want her to be in the middle of my square. I'm not going to do the sleigh. So I position it, so you can pick and choose which elements you want to use. That's about right, I think. I'm still on the back. Embossing is white, so I'm still on the back here. And then you're going to emboss in your little girl on the post box. Now, for this, I'm going to use the number 2 tool. Either the number 2 tool or the number 1 tool lightly. But what I want is a very, very fine outline. If I show you the piece that Lynn Jackson has prepared for me, Lynn has done a lot of my prep for me. So if I show you this on the blue parchment, you can see how fine that line is. It's not as white and as heavy as those embossed lines. So this is the sort of thing that we are aiming for, because what I want to do is I want to lose those hard lines in my embossing. I want it to look more natural, and this is more of a traditional technique that we practice in traditional parchment craft. So I'm going to use the number 2 tool to gently, and I'm hardly pressing at all. If I just do the post box now, just for you to see, and I'll turn it over, so you get a very, very fine line. Hardly pressing at all. If you find you can't see it when you turn it over, just put it back and do it again. Just go over it again. It all depends on how good your eyesight is, really. The finer you do the line, the more chance you've got of losing your lines in your embossing. And also when you add colour, you stand a good chance of hiding those lines with your colours on the front. So that's the number 2 tool that I've used there. I'm going to use the number 1 on the bottom part of the post box just for you to see. I'm still hardly, it's as if you're just skating over the surface of your parchment. Gently does it. You don't have to do it like this. You can, if you want to. You can have heavier white lines if you feel you want to. But I just want to show you this technique because it's a favourite of mine. So this is just the number 1 tool. So with the number 1 tool, if you press lightly, you get the finest line. It's not as fine with the number 2. It's a little bit thicker, but it's still quite fine. Right, let's take that off now. I won't do the girl now because I've got one ready prepared. Lynn has done one for me. I take that off. Let's move this out of the way. There we are. I think you can see that. You can see how fine it is. Okay? Now then, I might have pressed a little bit too hard there, but that's the sort of line I would aim for. You probably can't see that on the camera, so I've got to do them a little bit heavier. But it's very, very fine. You can see the difference between that and that. So it's a number 2 there and a number 1 there. It's up to you really which you want to use. Okay, so the next thing is I want to show you some embossing. So this is the one that Lynn has done for me. And we're going to emboss in several stages. So this is the first stage where Lynn has embossed with a 6mm ball tool. And I would reckon she's probably done about 2 layers there. Lynn is a very light-handed embosser. Some of you may be a little more heavy-handed. If you are heavy-handed, I would suggest that you take it a little bit slower, because the lighter you emboss, the more layers you can put, the more layers the parchment will take, and the better your embossing will be. That you'll have a better result at the end. So then if you move on, you can see that she's embossed a little bit more, and I would say she's still using the 6mm ball tool there. So between the two, I would think there's probably about 5, maybe 6 layers here. And then she's done a little bit more, and she's probably started then using the 4.5mm ball tool. So you're going down, and by the time you get to my finished card, I will probably have used the 3mm and the 1.5mm for the finer detail. And on the Pom Pom, I've used a 1 needle tool, so I'll be showing you how to do that as well. So I think I probably will show you that in the next demo.
I could just stand and watch Linda forever. I really could. What a beautiful, beautiful sample. We will get back to that demonstration soon. Now, just let's have a reminder, the one-day special. If you are going for the one-day special, we've got 2 different options for you. So if we look at the top row here, we've got the girls for you. And I'm so pleased that Linda said pink, because our instructions or our iCard said red, and I thought that's never red, but I've got to say it because that's what it says. It is definitely pink because Linda said so. So there you go. So you've got your girls at the top there. You have got a £10 saving there. The bottom row, we have the boys. Again, this is an option for you for the one-day special. You'll get the blue parchment with the boys, another £10 saving there. So individually, you have got those savings. But what most of you do, and I do genuinely mean most of it, it's absolutely flying out. Over 60% of the stock in 22 minutes has already gone. You are going for the complete collection. So that means you get all of the girls, all of the boys. You're going to get the pink parchment, you're going to get the blue parchment, and you're also going to get the A4 folder to keep everything nice and neat as well. Do keep your collection very, very safe there for you. Now then, those £10 savings from the girls, the £10 saving from the boys are carried over. We're going to give you another saving on top, £17 extra. And if you're a Freedom member, you can see the details there. It is definitely a why not deal. You are saving an extra £22.99. So that takes it up to £42.99 as a saving in total if you're a Freedom member. Wow. And 2 payments, if you want to split it down, of £26.96, 967001. And I will say, check those baskets out because we are so busy. We are really, really busy. Oh, let's tell you about more parchment. Now, something that's always busy. And you saw there, with the parchment that comes in with the full collection or with the one-day special, it is two-tone. You've got a whole collection here, lots of different colours for you. 10 of each shade. This is a huge bundle. Really lovely colours, aren't they, as well? And you are getting storage folder here as well. Saving £7. The price is £49.98. You can split that down. 2 payments of £24.99. Of course, you've got that flexi basket regardless if you're going for the one-day special. But here it's also included, so if you just want to top up on the parchment, you can do. 716256 is the item number. What beautiful colours. Absolutely stunning. Now we're going to go back to Linda and see part 2 of this video demonstration.
Okay, so I'm going to show you some shadow embossing now. If you have a look, this is what I did earlier, and we're going to do a little bit of shadow embossing. Have a look at the main card. So you can see that the light appears to be coming from this area here, and this side of the post box is light and this side of the post box is coloured to make it look darker. And with the girl, a lot of the light areas, if you look at her legs, are on the same side, and the darker areas are to the back. Okay, so let's have a look. This is the front of my work, so I'm going to turn it over, and I've got my pink Pergamano embossing mat, which I highly recommend. It's a bit warm, so my parchment is starting to curl, which is unusual for Wales. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to the hockey stick, which isn't used a lot, so it's very nice for doing large areas, for example, snow or fields or hills, or so the best way to use the hockey stick is to put it down on your parchment, to lift it, press on it and lift it and hold it quite close down there and tilt it slightly. So you're using this edge of the hockey stick, and you just, it takes a little bit of pressure. So So you're using the side of it. If you were to tilt it a little bit more, I'll show you on this bit. If you were, can you see? It's very, very light. If you were to tilt it a bit more, you get more of a line. And if you were to turn it over, you get quite a distinct line. So it's good for embossing your snowy areas or your fields or large areas. Some people prefer to use the hockey stick for most of their embossing, and I prefer to use a 6mm ball tool, but you can see how delicate the embossing is and how light it is. But I'm going to go back to my favourite, because the 6mm ball tool is the one that I like. So to start the shading, I'm going to start from this end. So it's going to be light this end, and it's going to be darker this end. So when you're embossing, it's a light press and a flick away from you for the shadow embossing. And you can see how lightly I'm going, and I'm moving just a little bit at a time. What I don't want is lots of stripes. I want a nice, smooth, embossed effect. And I'm going to leave a little bit of shadow there, whereas there's that rim. So there'll be a bit of shadow under that. And I'm going to leave a little bit of shadow there as well, little one. So you notice my embossed lines are slightly curved to make it look round. They're not going straight up, but as I get to the middle, they're starting to get a little bit straighter, so that when I get here, I want them to go that way. So maintaining the curve of the post box. You notice I'm not going all the way across, because I want to colour that end in, and I'll do that in my next demo. So it's nice, smooth emboss. A few too many lines there for my liking, so that's what you get when you rush it. So gently does it, inching over a little bit at a time, just possibly overlapping your strokes, but do that and leave a little gap. And then a little bit of embossing there. And I've also embossed every other one of these little stripes here. It's up to you which ones you want to emboss. And the little circular badge in the middle, where it probably says Royal Mail, or whichever country you're in, be different. So one side of that part there, which is probably raised. So you can see it's starting now to take shape, and you can see the shading going in. So with the girl, I want to do the Pom Pom first, just to show you. So I've only embossed the outer edge of the Pom Pom, and with a circular motion, I'm just going to emboss in there. And then I'm going to use the smaller tool, and I'm going to put a little bit more embossing in the middle. And then I'm going to take my one needle tool, and I'm going to make that pom pom fluffy. You see these fluffy pom poms with the one needle tool on its side, very gently, and just scratching that fluffy pom pom. And I'm turning it as I'm going. I'm starting on the outer edge, and I'm going to work into the centre. Don't press too hard, because what will happen is you will go through your parchment. And I'm working my way back. I don't want regular lines, I want it to be a little bit random. It's lovely to do, and you can make fluffy animals with this technique as well, so don't press too hard. If you want to press a bit harder later, you want to go back and put a bit more, make it a bit whiter, but there we are. You can see that. Gives you a lovely effect. Okay, and you can do that also. She's got a little tassel here. If I emboss a little dot there, tiny little dot, and emboss a tassel in. There we are. That's quite pretty. So to emboss your girl, you employ the same techniques, a 6mm ball tool, and emboss her coat. All over. And you emboss her hair. Now I want to introduce some curls in her hair, so I didn't emboss those lines too heavily. So for her hair, I'd emboss it from the top down and leave a little bit of shading in between. I think I'll take you through the hair now. Leave your layers rest before you go back in. And don't do it straight away like I'm doing it. So with a 4.5mm ball tool, I'm just going to introduce a little bit more shading to her hair. So you can see the strands of the hair starting to take shape. Sometimes what you leave out is more important than what you put in. So leave some shading in there as well. And then you can see it starting to take shape now. Go down the tool a little. Next tool is a 3mm ball tool. And this time I'm not embossing quite so much. And this is the way you'd emboss a flower. You'd use your 6mm ball tool, then your 4.5, and each time you'd emboss a little bit less. So you're aiming to get a bright white in, and a grey, and all the shades of embossing in between. There we are. So you can see that. Spend a bit more time on it than I am, but and then you'd go down the tool again, and what I want to do is to get those curls in, the tips of those curls. You could possibly use a 1mm ball tool to refine that. I'll bring the card back in now just for you to see her hair. That's a bit of a rushed hairdo, but if you look, I've spent a lot more time on that, and I've put the blue pencil in the dark areas. So that's her pom-pom and her hair and the tassel, and you employ the same embossing techniques for the whole of it. For her arm, you're going to give her just a basic white coat over the arm of her coat, and the letter, and her armband, and alternate stripes on her legs. It takes time to do this. You can't really rush this. And on her boots as well. Give it one coat and put it away. Just put it away overnight if you can, or for at least 20 minutes. Okay, so I'll come back to that in the next 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. I'm sure, Linda, you are watching. I just want to say, just incredible. Your designs are absolutely beautiful. And watching the videos as well, just mesmerising. Let's have a look at that complete collection, because we are so busy. 2/3 of the stock has now gone in the first 35 minutes. Just amazing. I thought this was going to be busy. Didn't quite think it was going to fly out like it has in such a short space of time. That does mean that you need to check those baskets out. Let's have a look at the individual plates a little bit more closely, because of course watching the demonstration there, that gorgeous card that Linda's working on, we're going to see part 3 coming up. It's just one of the plates, and remember, you can take elements from different plates and switch things around, just take words out. You could just have the letterbox there if you wanted to. So I'm going to show you the girls first of all. Obviously this is the plate that Linda's been working with, and then we have the little ducks in there. Look at that. Oh, and the wording again, absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you some more samples as well if I can do. I adore this one. This reminds me, the little girl at the postbox reminds me of my daughter. That actually reminds me of me. I used to love to swing when I was little, but I'm quite jealous because it was my sister that had the longest hair, so that was probably her on the swing. And there we've got again, look, the little ducks again, dancing the puddles. Gorgeous. So there's the girl plates. When we're looking at the full collection, of course, you're going to get the parchment as well. I'll go through the boys' plates and then we'll tell you about the parchment and the folder. But the individual designs on the plates here for the boys. And there's that little bunny rabbit. Do you remember, if you saw the start of the show, I think it was Jane's card, just using the rabbit. So you can take out the finest of detail. Look at that, playing on the swing tyre. Or the tyre swing, whichever way you want to put it, and the cap falling off his head. Do you know, it is ways that you can work with this in different ways. The cap, you could do different things with it. And that one there, may your heart be as light as a snowflake. And look at the little dog. Oh, love the border on that as well. And then finally we've got more in the way of ducks there. Whilst you wait for the sunshine, play in the rain. Just beautiful. Now, because the full collection, you are going to get all 8 of those plates, the 4 girls and 4 boys. You are going to get the pink parchment. These are 2-tone as well. You're going to get the blue. You're also going to get that A4 storage folder, which to me is very, very important. Do you know, I've got to show you a few more samples while I'm here as well. We'll do the girls first because I've got them in separate piles. Actually, some of these might be mixed up a little bit because you can adapt those plates. You can mix the boys with the girls, of course, as well. Isn't that adorable? There she is on the swing. I love that. Absolutely love it. Well done, design team. That's by Josie, that one. There's a little girl posting a Christmas letter, look. Doesn't it look different in the colours as well? I adore that. How clever to bring out that shading then, the word friends. Do you know, working with those creatures, the animals, the ducks, the butterflies, the leaves, whatever you've got, other plates will all work with these as well. You don't have to make them seasonal. Obviously, you've got that seasonal touch in here. You've got some of the words with the snowflakes, but certainly it's not just about the winter season at all, is it? I'm just going to show you a couple more of the girls, then we'll have a look at some boy samples and then we'll move on. Using all those different products that we get from Groovi as well. And of course, Pergamano with the parchment. Beautiful, lovely. Now let me show you this one. This is very, very clever. Using designer papers from Clarity in the background there as well. Isn't that wonderful? How well does that work? Using all those tools that you've been collecting, of course, as well. Whether you're just in the white work, whether you're using your tools, doing the picot edgings, there's so many options. That is very clever as well. I adore the shape around there, that framework that's been created, and the little bird on the branch works so well. These are gorgeous, aren't they? Oh, again, using the designer papers. Beautiful. 2 payments of £26.96 if you're going to the full collection. Let's just give you those details again, because remember, you have got the option of the one-day special as well. £10 carried over from the girls, £10 carried over from the boys. Then we're giving you that extra £17 on top if you're a non-Freedom member. If you are a Freedom member, you're getting an extra £22.99. And we've got the Flexi Buy as well. If you're not a Freedom member now, really do consider that. For £6.97, you are going to save a whole lot of money here if you're going for the full collection. It is a why not deal. Let's just give you a reminder of how that works. You can see there it would be the usual price of £76.90, introductory price £59.90. You're getting that 10% off as a Freedom member. Look at what you're saving there. Just for £6.97, that's what it would cost you to be a member for a month. Just give it a go. See how you feel. You're going to get that money back and you're going to save even more straight away. That will apply, of course, if you join right away. Oh, very, very busy. Now we've got the final part of Linda's demonstration coming up. We are going to show you that. You're just seeing some of the parchment there on the screen at the moment. Let's give you the details there. This is for the two-tone again. If you want to go for this wonderful kit, you've got 100 A5 sheets here. Some gorgeous colours in this bundle as well. £7 saving, £49.98. Item number 716256. And you do get the storage folder for your parchment as well included, which is always a bonus, isn't it? Two payments of £24.99. Well worth popping into your basket if you can afford that as well, to add in those extra colours. Let's go back to Linda there. We're going to see the final part of this wonderful demonstration.
So we've been embossing the little girl and the post box, and we've gone from, to recap, we've gone from the fine line embossing of the outer edges, 6mm ball tool a couple of times, keeping on with the 6mm ball tool to introduce the shading, leaving some grey areas that we're going to colour later on. And here we've got to the 4.5mm ball tool. You can see how the shading has progressed, and you can leave the little gaps in her coat and the backs of her legs and the backs of the boots, just to introduce lots of shading. So finally you need to come in with the 4mm ball tool and maybe the smaller 3mm ball tool and just finish off. So pressing a little bit harder this time to get that whiteness. I'll turn it over now for you to see the difference. I don't think I'd use anything smaller on these large areas, but you could possibly use something smaller on the smaller areas. You don't need to be adding smaller tools in these vast expanses of embossing. All you'd get would be stripes. So if I turn it over, you can see the difference now, how that's progressing. So you do the whole of the post box, and with her skirt you could start putting, because the light is coming from there, you could possibly leave those back ones and just introduce a bit of light in these here, so which would add more shading in itself. And some more, maybe go to the 3mm for the smaller areas here. I used the 4mm for her coat. Just fine stroke, little bit at a time. Check what's happening on the front, because sometimes what you think is happening is not quite what is happening, and you turn over to the front and you can be bitterly disappointed. So always check what you're doing on the front. A little bit, do a little bit, turn it over, do a little bit more, turn it over, and just keep on checking. Keep on checking, keep on resting your parchment. Leave it overnight if you can. Come back to it the next morning with fresh eyes. So I'm even introducing some shading into the stripes on her hat. A bit more shading there. Okay. There we are, you can see the difference. You can see how it progresses with each little bit of embossing. So if I bring the card in again, so you can see bright white there, not so white there, bright white there, no embossing there, and all the shades of from bright white to grey and all the shades in between. That's a sign of good, great embossing. I've done a little bit more on the snow, and you can see the blue pencil then has brought in the shading, has added to it as well. So I'll do a little bit of the pencil work now for you to see, just to finish off. So here's my little girl. She could probably do with a little bit more embossing, but always use your coloured pencils on a hard surface. I've used the polychromos to colour her. I've used the ultramarine, light ultramarine and Indian Thin Blue, which is 1247. 140, 120, 247 if you want to repeat the colours that I've used. So with the post box, nice sharp pencils, And you're doing exactly the same with the pencils that you did with your embossing tools. So you're, it's a little bit like, if I put that on a bit of blue here, you can see it better. Or maybe I'll put it on. Sometimes you can't see it on if you put it on something white, you can't see your embossed lines. So sometimes if you put it on a darker shade of the colour that you're using, it does help. So fine, fine, feathery lines. They're just short there. And you're colouring from the edge of the post box and you're going up into the embossing that you've brought to the middle on the other side. So I'm still curving those lines. They're going that way there and that way there. I'm getting to those grey areas as well that you left to give it a little bit of shape. So I'm doing in there as well. And you're going to do the whole of the post box and you're going to do all of that there and the little stripes as well and the top and all the other bits. Okay, so if I put it on a white piece of paper, you can see. Okay, if it's a bit too stripy for you, if you don't like what it looks like, all you've got to do is to take your blending nibs, dry, don't put any oil on them, dorsal oil, you don't want to be shifting this, and then you can smooth it out a little bit. Alright, and we're going to do her coat. All the bits where you've left grey, you're going to colour blue. The stripes on her stockings, her tights, you're going to colour those as well. And the bits of the blue. I just wanted to use one colour. You can use as many colours as you want, but I always think if you're not sure what colour to make a parchment card, blue is always a safe bet, because parchment always looks its best on blue. I don't know what it is, it just enhances it really well. It brings out the brightness in the parchment, because sometimes you can use something and it can just kill your parchment. If you put it on something really dark, it just kills it. So when you've done your palest blue, you put it on the hair as well. I'm going to speed up a bit now. I haven't got much time left. Please don't scrub it on like this. And then you, there she is. You do the same. So it's very much like working your way through the embossing tools, but you don't go so far. Do a little bit less. So I'll just concentrate on her skirt now, her coat. It's a lovely technique, very, very engrossing. Let's put a little bit of shading on the crook of her arm there, and a little bit just along the back there, and on her stripy tights. So really the stripy tights should be darker blue in the back, because that's where the shading is, and maybe a little bit on her boots there. There we are. And with the darker pencil, even less again. So you've got all those shades of white and all those shades of blue should work together to give you a really nice piece of work. But you've got to spend a few hours on this sort of thing. So then put it on white so you can see. There we are, it's starting to take shape. Now, if you want to, and if you're adventurous, you can add a little bit of the darker shade on the front, and that will bring it to life. But you have to be a bit adventurous to do that, don't you, eh? Just the smallest amount. So there you have it. So there it is finished. I put a little bit of the dark blue in on the snowflakes as well, and these corners I've cut them out. So what I did was I layered it onto some designer paper and some white card. It all depends what you layer it with, actually. If it's on something really dark, it's probably best to put a little bit of white behind there just to bring the coloured part out. Okay, great. See you soon.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Do you know, we see some absolutely amazing samples here, but I think that is one of the prettiest cards I've ever seen. I absolutely loved watching that. So many hints and tips in there as well. Let's have another look at that complete collection, because it is absolutely flying. Now, if you want to go for all the girls and all for the boys as well, you can get that in the complete collection, but that's not it. You're getting the parchment as well, and you're also getting the folder. Now, 70% of the stock has already gone in this first hour. We've got another show tonight, of course, another live hour tonight at 8 o'clock. Where will that stock be by then? Because sales will be made in between as well. So do make sure you check those baskets out and don't miss out on anything. Now, when it comes to the one-day special, you're saving £10 on the girls, £10 on the boys, on the complete collection. That's what we're looking at on the screen right now. You're carrying over those two £10, so you've got £20 straight away there, but we're giving you another £17 saving on top. That's if you're that non-Freedom member. Freedom members, we're giving you an extra £22.99, so your total saving is £42.99, bringing that cost down to £53.91. Then we're splitting it two ways for you as well, so you've got that flexi buy option. We'll just give you the details there. £26.96 per payment. You make one payment now, everything will be shipped out to you, and then you'll make another payment in a month's time. 967001. Don't forget, you are getting that beautiful two-tone parchment included, and yes, the blue is in there, and that folder, which is so important for keeping everything nicely organised and nice and safe. We are very, very busy. Let's have a look at one or two more samples. Some of them you may have seen, some you may not. I'll try and get through as many as I can to make it very fair, because everybody puts so much time into making the samples for us. I just adore that. I think it's such a clever way of using the word friends and then standing the little figure there as well, and you've got those ducks that are around there. You know, whether you're using your picot edgings, whether you're using your tools, your perforating tools as well, your little snips, you can create those beautiful frames. Whether you're using the Clarity Designer papers, sorry, I did flick past that a little bit too fast. Let me just bring that in. Don't forget to read the wording as well. Absolutely gorgeous. There she is, the girl on the swing again, this time using the pink parchment that you're getting in the full collection, or if you're going for the one-day special, of course, you're getting that with the girls. I love this little tag as well. It's the girl on the swing again there. Isn't that pretty? Do you know, if you're just making tags, whether you're making cards, it doesn't matter. I must show you this one as well, because I haven't shown this one yet. This is very clever. Using those circles, look at that, how the little images are being created using that plate. The little feet there, I adore that, just splashing in the puddle. Isn't that a lovely idea? And look at the ducks, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Do take advantage of this. Please do check those baskets out. Let me show you one or two more of the boys just as we go through. I'm going to keep showing these until we count it out. Well done once again. I mean, look at that there. All the white work in there, the picot edging, the perforations, just with the blue cardstock behind there. Gorgeous. There's that little bunny rabbit again, look. Just taking that tiny little rabbit. But look at this here, how this has been done around. It looks three-dimensional, doesn't it? I am going to be counted out. Please stay with us. We've got much more to come. Join us at 8 o'clock for more from Linda.